Okay, and we're back for another MMS 2016 speaker interview. And this time I'm joined by someone who's I feel will be very familiar to the MMS audience, someone who gives some of the most technical, some of the best sessions that we have at MMS, Mr. Trevor Sullivan.
Hello,
Hey,
Lee.
Trevor. So I think people are pretty familiar with your work. You're online. You're all over the place. You're doing all these videos on Channel 9. Community loves that. Why don't you tell us real quick what your sessions are at MMS this year? It looks like you have 4 sessions, so you're going to be giving us a lot. What are you going to be talking about?
Yeah, so I've kind of shifted over the years from kind of more the on-premises management using Systems Center, which I worked with for about 8 years, and I'm really kind of more aligned with the cloud industry at this point. And I actually work as a cloud trainer for a small startup called Cloud Academy, and I'm working on Microsoft Azure training content for them, and basically building out our training content library. And so kind of over the years, my expertise has really kind of shifted more towards the Azure cloud area. And I've actually got all 4 sessions this year. The third MMS are all Azure related.
Oh.
So the first one's going to cover infrastructure services, just kind of talking about virtual networking and virtual machines and how to deploy virtual machines rapidly using Azure Resource Manager JSON templates, which is kind of the declarative PowerShell DSC-like declarative syntax for Azure. And then we'll be moving on to, there's another session on actually deep dive into authoring Resource Manager templates. So how do you actually fire up a text editor? How do I build out and declare all these different types of cloud resources and then deploy that out to your Azure subscription or your account? So that one's going to be really interesting because Microsoft has been doing a lot of innovation in the tooling surrounding authoring JSON templates for Azure. So that's going to be a pretty cool session. I'm going to be doing cross-platform stuff, working off both Windows and Mac machines. We're also going to be talking about how to migrate infrastructure up to Azure. So that's going to be a little bit more targeted towards people who are on VMware or Hyper-V, and they're interested in kind of shifting that aging hardware infrastructure up to Azure. It's pretty easy, and I'm actually going to be co-presenting that with a guy from Microsoft named Vlad Jonovic, and he works on the Portal team at Microsoft. So he's a really good guy. He was actually there at the last MMS.
Yep.
And then the last session is Long Live Azure Automation, which is also being co-presented between myself and a program manager named Beth Cooper on the Microsoft Azure Automation team. So we're going to cover PowerShell desired state configuration in Azure, the pricing model, kind of some of the benefits that you get doing that versus setting up an on-premises pull server. And we're also going to be talking about authoring runbooks and how you can contribute your own runbooks to the gallery, setting up source control integration, and all that fun stuff.
All right, Trevor. Well, you know what? I think we want to keep this short and sweet, but what can we say? If you're going to MMS and if you're interested in Azure, if you're trying to learn Azure topics, Trevor is going to be one of your guys this year for sure. Really excited, especially for some of those JSON authoring template things, because that's like the language of Azure now, and that's something that there's always that initial hump just trying to get familiarized with that, but once you hit that point, you can do some really cool stuff like we'll see in your session. So Trevor, thanks for presenting this year at MMS, and thank you for taking the time to tell us all about your sessions.
Thanks for having me, Lee. See you soon.
Thanks. See you, Trevor.